Coming to you from the dining room table at East Barbary Lane, welcome to Full Circle, a weekly podcast where we squeeze a few headlines through our decidedly queer lens and see what happens. This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine and the tears of suddenly feeling vulnerable white cishet men across America.
I am your host, Charles Tyson Jr.
And I'm your other host, Martha Madrigal. Welcome to the Full Circle table.
On this week's episode, we talk about reading dystopian novels while living in dystopia.
So, did you have a takeaway besides despair and screaming?
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah. Good news from New Jersey.
As laws are being passed against transgender kids in particular, this is a huge step forward.
Martha plays a quick round of Fuck You, Yaay You, and Why Am I Not Surprised? And we talk about all the Oscar-nominated films we've actually seen. Not a dry seat in the house when Luis is on the screen.
Yeah.
We're here.
We're here. We're here. We're queer. They'll never get used to it.
Nope. See, it was during your intro there that I was suddenly thankful all over again for the White Tears coffee mug you gave me for Christmas.
That apparently I ordered from China, and there's irony in that, without knowing that. So it came sometime at the end of January.
Hey, it's about when it arrives. That's the important thing. And I love using it and taking pictures of myself using it.
Yeah, right? It's fun.
So how are you, dear?
I'm good. I spent... So we are a little more than a week out from Valentine's Day. We had a busy week last week, so we didn't record. But this is our fifth recording. So
or something, yeah.
You know, if Jesus and Maya got together, you know, maybe this will be the one we finally broadcast. But we've been, you know, trying to get it right so we don't bore ourselves or anyone else. But last week, so I got an email from medium.com. So I've been writing on Medium now for at least a year, probably more. And I monetized it because you could. And I get these little deposits of like 17 cents a month. And I got a letter, I don't know, toward the beginning of February, that said if I was not up to 100 followers by February 23rd, and today is February 23rd, they would possibly rescind my monetization.
Oh, no.
I know. So, but I took it as a challenge anyway. It's like, even though, you know, we can probably afford to lose the 17 cents, it was like, all right, so they've imposed rules.
Right.
So Valentine's Day, I decided that at least every weekday I will publish an essay. So I did that all of last week. Mm-hmm. We skipped the weekend and Monday, President's Day, because it was our good friend's birthday. And, you know, I went and cooked dinner at our house and stuff.
It was a whole thing.
So, you know, her birthday is a holiday. More than mine, because she insists on it more. And
I think the bank was closed that day.
I think it was. So yeah. So I did. I published 5 essays last week, and I published another one today, and
they're very good.
Well, thank you. And I do have a few of my readers out there. Just, you know, the reality check of, because what I decided to do was, you know, to write with my pen name, my nom de plume, which is Martha Madrigal, which, since this could be our first broadcast, I should probably, you know, obviously I have a birth name, which I'm not crazy about, and I haven't figured out what to do with. And I had a drag name, but I never liked it. It was just meant to be funny. Not something I want to be called.
Right.
And so when
Fabulous drag name, though.
it was funny. But anyway, and someday we'll talk about that. But we were having, I think it was while we were having our first barbecue here. We moved back to New Jersey in the house where I grew up, and we put a patio in, and we had a whole bunch of queer people here. July 3rd.
Right.
And we were looking at, from the patio, we were looking up at the wooden steps that go up and down. And I said it just reminded me so much of Barbary Lane. And
in that whimsical, lovely way.
Right. And I don't know if that was the moment or if that was the combination of moments, because, I cook a lot and I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I've done some vegan cooking videos and stuff like that. We try to eat plant-based as often as possible. And you said, I know you coined the phrase. You coined the name and said that I was some combination of Martha Stewart and Anna Madrigal, who is the central character in Tales of the City, which takes place at Barbary Lane.
Yes.
So it kind of stuck, and it's kind of fun, and I thought it was so endearing, and I've been called so much worse. So I started writing also, beyond just podcasting, as Martha Madrigal. So I'm searchable.
Yes.
And I try to publish an essay every weekday, and so far great feedback. So we'll see.
You shortened the name from what I actually gave you, which was Martha fucking Madrigal.
So Martha fucking Madrigal,
good job.
which I'll use sometimes, I think.
It's a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, transition is a messy business, and until I iron out all the details, it's just easier this way. And it's fun, and it gives me something to aspire to.
Exactly.
I have to be fun and witty now. I can't just log on.
However, will you do that?
It's a challenge. I don't know. We'll see.
Heaven forfend.
We'll see. I find me hilarious, but
we know.
Yeah. So you've been reading.
Oh, I have been. I just finished reading Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, and I'm not intentionally reading these dystopic novels in the future that
I think you are.
They're written for, because I just finished reading 1984 for the first time at the tail end of the Trump presidency, and ooh, that was real. And so reading from Fahrenheit 451 during this time was really interesting. For those of you that don't know, it takes place. It was written in the 1950s and takes place in a future dystopia where reading and books are outlawed, and the firemen, they don't put out fires with water. They destroy buildings containing books with fire, and the society becomes dependent on the piped-in televised entertainment 24/7, and everyone's just become vacuous idiots and doesn't know how to talk to people, and no one.
This is fiction, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Everyone's afraid of the knowledge that reading will give you. It makes things more difficult.
Oh, Christ.
I swear I didn't mean to be timely when I was reading the book. But yeah, it was hitting me. It's like, okay, reality television and social media, and no one knows how to communicate face to face anymore. And we're damn near literally burning books.
Yeah. Yeah, we're back there.
This feels familiar. I feel like I read another book where book
you
banning.
did recently, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
So
that was 1984.
Right.
So I think, if we ever have listeners, we should put together, a banned book club, and just go through a reading list that way.
I love it.
Yeah, and we already have the title, which is Reading by the Light of the Dumpster Fire.
Yes.
Yeah. So, that's there's a goal. There's a goal. So, did you have a takeaway beside despair and screaming?
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah. It was a well-written novel. I'm glad I read it. It was on my list of books that I, for whatever reason, never got to. And so I can check it off the list now, and ooh, it was too real.
So can you tell me why that is a banned or frequently banned book?
I mean, my guess would be that it pokes fun at the status quo and exposes our need to be comfortable, as opposed to, oh Lord, I just
child comfort. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'd rather be comfortable and ignorant than aware and a little angry and afraid. Wow. This book needs to be put back in schools.
Right, except those are the books that they don't want in the school.
Because I was just thinking about the way the education system is these days.
You know, it's the same, it feels like it's the same justification, whether we are banning trans children from playing in team sports. And I don't know why they even want to, but God bless them, and they, I'm going to fight for them to be able to.
Right.
Or all the books that shouldn't be read, or critical race theory, which is not even a thing, K through 12.
Nope.
But it's fascinating, and it seems to be. And we did talk about this on the last time we got together for this. We talked about the pajamification of America.
Yes.
And one of the things I said to you off mic was, wouldn't it be nice if we worried about the comfort level and innocence of all children?
Exactly.
The way that we seem to rally around the comfort and innocence of little white children. And
Exactly.
that's just what I see.
Right, because everyone's worried about little white kids feeling sad or disgusted for being white, where, God forbid, you're the only black kid in your class and it comes time to talk about slavery or anything regarding black history, which would probably be Rosa Parks and MLK full stop. And inevitably, I'm guessing the entire class turns and looks at the one kid like they're going to be the authority. No one cares about their comfort.
Was Claudette Colvin an unwed mother? Was that her sin? There was a reason that the first woman who ever decided to
She
sit
was
at the
young.
front of the bus.
She was darker skinned.
She was darker,
she
but
was pregnant.
Right, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not married, as far
Right.
I believe. Right. So we celebrate Rosa Parks because she was the more digestible figure.
Right.
So yeah, this.
And the story
marketing
of
thing
Rosa
has been
Parks,
going
they
on
always
a
try to
long
make
time.
her into this tired old woman. She wasn't old and she wasn't tired.
Was she even 40?
I don't think she was.
Yeah, I don't think she was. Claudette was younger and came beforehand.
She was a teenager.
She was, and they worked together somehow, or they did know one another.
Well, yeah, they were all part of the movement.
Yeah.
Black
At
history.
Any rate. Well, so much. Yeah, history is in the hands of scary people.
Exactly. Or they wish they would rather that be so.
Well, they're trying. They really are trying.
Mm-hmm.
So what else is happening? I have my little list of things to chat about. A couple of them I can knock off the list quickly.
What's on your list?
I'm not. I'm not going to read it, but there was a recent study published that essentially said that the Obama era sex education programs and funding were effective at limiting abortion and teen pregnancy.
Who knew?
Of course they were. If this fight was really about abortion, then we would do the things that actually limit abortion, like sex education, like free and easy access to birth control, etc. Things we do know work that they also fight against. So yeah. So turns out there was a very large, well-constructed study done. And sky is still blue is what they came to.
Water's still wet.
Water's still wet.
Who knew?
Now, not to go off on a tangent about gun control, but families of the Sandy Hook victims did announce a landmark $73 million settlement.
Good for them.
Yeah, with a gun maker, with Remington.
That's amazing that they got money.
It is. And it does open a door.
Which means
as it should.
The gun maker actually had some culpability there.
Yeah, this is a settlement, so you can't appeal a settlement.
That's right.
So they won. And we're still battling the laws that protect the manufacturers from being liable. However, this is huge.
That is huge. It's amazing.
And trans kids can't play softball, but guns.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I just
yeah. It's like when you think about, we've been seeing these memes everywhere. When you're more afraid of your kids reading material than there being guns in school,
right? Than active shooter training,
right?
That's okay.
You're more afraid for their little fifis than for actual guns being in the school. That says a lot about our country.
Yeah. I like good news. New Zealand just became the latest country to outlaw conversion therapy. Yay! Yeah, no shit.
Why is this still a news thing? Is the big question.
We're gonna keep doing this. But they signed it into law. There is a quote. Let's see. Conversion practices are based on the false idea that people are wrong or broken because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. Such practices and ideas have no place in a modern, inclusive country. And the Labour Party did make banning that practice a 2020 campaign promise.
Fabulous.
Yeah. It makes it a civil offense to perform conversion therapy on anyone younger than 18 who lacks decision-making capacity, punishable by up to 3 years in prison.
Fabulous. See, yet another reason why New Zealand is cool as hell.
Yeah. I mean, it's on the table. It's on the table as we, if we ever have to contemplate our options.
Exactly.
It raises a pathway for people to raise complaints about conversion practices with the country's Human Rights Commission and Human Rights Review Tribunal. The service is being put in place because prosecution won't always be the best way to deal with these practices. That's fine. The law defines what is not considered conversion practice and protects people's right to express opinions or beliefs not intended to change or suppress a person's identity. So I'm fine with that.
That's amazing. I mean, because the long and short of it is conversion therapy doesn't work because it's not really a thing.
Well, it doesn't work. Yeah. I mean, it's trying to, it's trying to do something that is not possible to do.
Exactly.
And it is very harming to people, and it should stop. It should not be legal. It should not be okay. And, of course, some of the arguments go, well, what about the adults? Because they make money doing this stuff. Mm-hmm. Are there adults who don't want to be LGBTQ? Yes, there are.
Right.
Is there any form of therapy that can change them? No.
Nope.
So, the kind of the latest direction with conversion therapy, it's still conversion therapy as far as I'm concerned, is to say, we can't fix you, we can't change you, but if you remain abstinent, you can still sit at the Lord's table.
Yeah, right.
And you know what? I'm going to fuck all of you.
Exactly.
Fuck all of you.
But they're being abstinent.
You don't set the Lord's table.
Well.
Period. We're here. We showed up this way. And if we didn't show up this way, we figured it out pretty goddamn early. And, the work of therapy should be to help us navigate a society that hates us, because that's what we ultimately wind up doing. Whether we figure it out in our, childhood, or we figure it out when we're 70, the truth is the truth is the truth, and it can't be changed.
And if the people sitting on the judging side of the argument are supposed to be taking vows of chastity and abstinence, and they're not actually doing it, then what the hell do you expect from the rest of us?
They're having all the good straight sex, allegedly, till you find out otherwise. There is nothing better than a loose-lipped rent boy, just to equalize the field.
That had levels.
It did. It did. But, yay New Zealand.
Yay New Zealand.
Thanks for that. So let's see. What else is on the list? The percentage of LGBTQ identified folk in the U.S. has doubled over the past decade, according to Gallup. More younger Americans are coming out and identifying, and we are nearing 10%, which 10% has always been the figure that smart queer people have used.
Right.
As we're probably around there, maybe higher, but probably not lower. Because anytime we take a poll, a lot of folks still don't raise their hand.
Right.
Well,
that's the thing. So did the number go up because more people are being honest and being out?
Yeah, that is, yes. I mean, obviously their narrative is that we are recruiting, which is not.
I don't think
you cannot indoctrinate.
Right.
You can't.
It's like the same number of queer people walking the planet now is the same as it always has been. It's just,
but roughly it's the same percentage. It's just,
if only 1 out of every 10 is going to say, yes, that's me.
Right. So the percentage of U.S. adults who identify as something other than heterosexual has doubled from 3.5% in 2012 to 7.1%.
Hallelujah.
In this most recent poll. And, a big part of that is the increase is due to high LGBT self-identification, particularly as bisexual, among Generation Z adults who are 18 to 25.
I see that.
Yeah, so it was a survey of more than 12,000 adults. Well, if you think about it, what was it for boys to admit to being bisexual, even in the 90s? Forget the preceding decades, but even through the 90s, that was not okay. It was not. It took you out of the game with a lot of cis women.
This is true.
Just the admission that yes, I am also attracted to men.
Yes,
even if you were not actively, even if all other things were equal, the admission itself.
I ran into that problem a lot.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Because you can't be trusted, you see.
You can't be trusted. You're just gay. The other shoe's going to drop. Mm-hmm. You're just gay.
Correct.
I can't compete with another man. You're just gay. I'm giving examples of my life.
No, I know, I do. Yes. And I always just let them give me the label they find the harshest. Do you know what I mean? Like, call me gay. Like, I think it's fair to say I was bisexual. I had 2 long-running marriages where there was a lot of sex,
right, with 2 very different women, and yet, right,
you suck one dick.
That's all it takes.
So fine, call me. If that is more comfortable for you, I don't care about the word you use to describe me. I mean, it's a conversation I have often, and I try to tread lightly within the trans community. I'm like, I'm old. Use whatever fucking pronouns you feel good with. Mm-hmm. It's nice when you call me she, but I don't care what you identify yourself and your need.
It's not what you're called, it's what you answer to.
Well, exactly right, and but whether I answer to it or not is beside the point.
But wait, back up. So is that like the one drop theory, where it's like if you have one drop of black blood, then you're black?
Yeah,
so you
one
suck
drop
one
of semen,
dick.
Yes, yes.
And that's all it is. It's all it takes forever.
You have rescinded your masculinity forever. and the butchest dudes I know are gay men.
Right?
Like, think about that, really. You know, think about it. The manliest men I know, like other men. They're so manly, they don't even involve the women folk. Do you know? They fuck each other. That's how tough they are. A lot of them. You know, the bears in flannel with the beards and the, you know, all that yumminess is like, there you go. They're just like, no, we don't know.
I mean,
no. How do you not acknowledge that? It's just
you
a
raise
question.
a good point.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to prove you're a man? Take a dick up your ass. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
take his seed.
Bro. I mean, for real, there are ancient cultures where, you know, giving oral sex or taking the seed of the men in the village is what makes you more of a man.
Right.
Like, that's a thing.
I'm saying.
Or that was a thing.
Well, right. Well, I don't know.
I don't know that it's still a thing.
I don't either.
But the point still remains.
But it makes complete sense to me.
I mean, I don't have all the data to prove that it don't work.
So more young men are comfortable in saying that they are bisexual. Is, you know, and women have been for decades, but men less so.
Well, yeah, because it's not threatening when women do.
Well, no, because men are turned on by that. Like, you know, cishet men are turned on by the idea of two women together. Women still get queasy, although lesbians watch gay porn. Huh.
Right.
Anyway.
So does this mean like the Kinsey one's in danger? Is that
I don't know. I don't know what it means. They're all so afraid of us anyway. Like, I don't know what it means. It means people are relaxing. They're willing to admit it. It means we have done our jobs over the last generation. We took Stonewall and ran with it.
That's right.
You know, it's truly. And,
some of us in heels, goddammit.
And we had a 15-year pandemic in the middle of that shit. Mm-hmm. So fuck you, talking about the pansies.
Well, that's the thing that I've always
We bring you art, we bring you music, we bring you color, and
we know how to fight.
We know how to fight, and yes, and all of that.
And on that note, I think it's time we took a short break.
Let's do that. Welcome back to Full Circle.
We're back.
So, I have 3 more news items I want to walk through.
Wow, a lot happened since
before we get to movies. Yes, a lot has happened. A lot is always going on. I have a fuck you, a yay you, and a why am I not surprised?
Okay.
Yeah. Might as well start with the fuck you and get it out of the way.
Well, those are, yeah.
So Leah Thomas has been in the news. Mm-hmm. She is a pen swinger.
We don't know her whole life. But
we don't know her whole life like that.
Swimmer.
She is a Penn women's team swimmer. She is transgender. She has met all of the criteria to be able to swim. And that, you know, very briefly involves the length of time she has been on hormones and her hormone levels, both estrogen and testosterone, etc., that do qualify her to swim on the women's team. She has broken some records. She is, you know, entering the whatever championships, the finals, the you were so good you get to swim again,
right?
Whatever they call that,
the Bad Bitch Swimmers Club. Yeah,
she's doing that, And more than 300 swimmers signed an open letter in support of Leah Thomas.
Yes.
Because, of course, the comment section at all is a
fucking sewer.
Yes, is a sewer. So, I champion her. I wish her nothing but the best. I think she's amazing. I think she has amazing courage. My fuck you is to whatever townhall.com is.
I read that bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know who generates it, but they should fuck all the way off. Their bullshit transphobic telling of
how many times did the two of us say ew when we were reading it together?
A lot. This particular story. I'm just going to read a little bit of it just for context. Pennsylvania swimmer, and they dead name her from the gate. Mm-hmm. William, quote, Leah, end quote, Thomas. So they have to dead name her, who is a biological male competing on the women's swim team. That, like, fuck off. And then it
took way more words to do all that than to just do it right.
This letter came after the NCAA updated its transgender athlete guidelines, allowing the governing body of each sport to decide its own policy. The new policy requires biological males who wish to compete on a women's swim team at the elite level must show a concentration of testosterone in their blood less than 5 nanomoles per liter for at least 36 months. 3 years of low testosterone is a lot. Mm-hmm. The swimmer must also undergo an evaluation by a 3-person panel of medical experts who will determine whether the swimmer's physical development as a male gives them an advantage over their biological female competitors. Here's the thing. It's rigorous. Mm-hmm. It's not fucking around.
Nope.
Leah Thomas is not a man just trying to have a better swim record. As some have, and you know what?
Which is just ridiculous.
And you can fucking report on trans women without dead naming them. You can report on them without calling them biological males. And
if you're an actual journalist,
do a better, more respectful job.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
My big fuck you tonight is to townhall.com, whatever that is.
Trash.
And I will work hard to never read anything they write again. Because, yeah, fuck you.
So you heard it here, townhall.com. Fuck you and everyone that lives in your house.
Yeah, because that's just bullshit. And it's unnecessary. And here's a great example. I pretty much hate Caitlyn Jenner. Mm-hmm. I don't need to misgender her or dead name her to say that.
Nope.
I can tell you what is wrong with this woman without ever having to go there.
You can list her faults without her identity even making the cut. Like, it's not even part of the conversation.
So I'm working toward that day, and to hell with Town Hall. So that was a disgusting display of transphobic pseudo-journalism and, whatever.
Okay, that was bullshit. Next.
Yeah. So the Yaay, we talked about at length in a recording that we'll probably never let anyone hear. So I want to bring it up again, which is the state of New Jersey has passed into law in early February the teaching of LGBTQ history along with the rest of American history, as such as it is, in all public schools, K through 12 throughout the state. I am here for this. I plan to research this fully. I plan to make this an ongoing topic as we podcast, because whatever I can do to lend my story as a student whose education was stolen from them in this very state, I plan to do that. You know, whether it's in conjunction with them, next to them, or you know, at their consternation, I don't actually care. I have a story. It is my story, and
That's right.
A lot of it has to do with how education failed me. No, obviously, this was a number of years ago. I want to make sure they're doing better.
Right.
And, we find ourselves in the interesting position of living right back in the school district where all this happened. So as taxpayers, we have a right to ask some questions, and we are going to.
That's right.
But I want to get to meet and know the folks who made this happen to begin with. It is groundbreaking. New Jersey is one of only 2 states in the union to pass such a law, because the rest of them are backwater red, and they're going to remain so for, God knows how long. So as laws are being passed against transgender kids, in particular, this is a huge step forward. And I want to ask some questions, and I want to lend whatever support I can, just as a citizen in this state with a story.
I'm sorry, you said backwater red. That made me
backwater red.
That made me think of like primer on a rusty car.
Yeah, well, sometimes they add primer.
No, that's fabulous. I love that. And I'm curious as to whether or not they are also teaching Black history as part of just history and not making it a special thing. I'm asking. I honestly don't know.
I mean, my sense is that maybe came first. That's another, for the research column. Exactly how is it going? I can guarantee you this. No permission notes went home in the state of New Jersey for parents to opt out of Black History Month.
Oh,
I promise you
God.
that. Yeah. Was that Tennessee?
One of them.
Alabama,
of them places down there
Kentucky,
that my black ass will never be.
Right. Where was that?
Ugh.
Well, anyway, I can promise you that never happened.
Right.
And I am looking back at the late 70s, where my education here took place. I'm hoping an awful lot has changed. But I'm prepared to ask questions. I'm prepared to see how it is and how it goes. As everyone in our little community knows, we're here. Mm-hmm. We have a rainbow flag on every corner, so it's not real hard to find us.
Right.
Yeah, because I think that representation matters.
I think it's fabulous, and we both would be more than happy to help with the education process.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we both have our own stories. We both have a body of knowledge, and we're both educators. So, hey.
Right. And, as we've talked about starting a TikTok channel, I really do want to play with the idea of the queer history that's being taught here. And, TikToking it in a way that maybe can be picked up by students and help them to get it and help them to understand, and maybe help inspire some of the teachers that now are required by law to teach it. This is huge.
And it's an actual reason for me to learn how to fucking use TikTok, because I'm old and I don't care. That's why it's taking me so long to do it now.
But you did a cute one today. You did a cute little TikTok.
I did.
Meaningless, but cute.
It wasn't meaningless. I was being creative. God damn it.
Well, there you go. There's the meaning. But yeah, it's this is huge. The comment section is ugly on this one, of course.
Ugh.
And I wrote a piece about this, and it's up there on Medium for all to read. But I said, I am really here for this conversation. I am really here for these comments. I'm open to these discussions, and I am not the little child they left laying in the playground crying. We are not dealing with the same human.
I believe I read that line and went, work.
Yeah, well, I'll show them. I don't talk big, but yeah, these are conversations that need to be had, and I really want to have them in full support of our home state.
Indeed.
So I'm gonna move on because we still want to get to movies. I'm gonna move on to the "Why Am I Surprised" section of our show. Alabama lawmakers advance a transgender student bathroom ban. I'm just going to comment on the fact that they're even slow in this.
They got to stay on brand.
It pains me to say Montgomery, Alabama, but, in Montgomery, lawmakers on Tuesday night approved legislation that would bar transgender students from using school bathrooms and locker rooms that match their current gender identity. The bill mandates K through 12 schools require students to use multi-person restrooms and locker rooms that match the sex on their original birth certificate.
Ew.
The vote was 74-24. I'm going to guess it fell along party lines.
Mm-hmm.
After 2 hours of contentious debate. Yeah. It moves on to the Senate.
Contentious debate.
So Scott Stadthagen of Hartzell told lawmakers right now, you got males who are dressing up as females, who are identifying themselves as females and wanting to use the female bathrooms.
Why do I feel like that was a very accurate reenactment?
And end quote.
Minus a couple galdarns.
Right. Neil Rafferty, a Democrat from Birmingham, said all you're doing is demonizing an already vulnerable population. It is all under the guise of protecting children just to win cheap political points. That is all it is, and that is all it is. And they're not even early to this party because it's fucking Alabama. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That's what I was thinking when you said contentious debate. I'm like, well, what was the fucking debate?
The 24 Democrats were screaming that
these are human beings. Fuck them and fuck you too. Like, that's basically...
Yeah, we're not human. No, we're not human. Not in their eyes, and we never have been, and, I'm sure we'll cover that in other podcasts. But Representative Marika Coleman, a Democrat, asked Stadthagen how many of those cases involved a transgender woman he was talking about. So wait a minute. What did he say? Wait.
Stadthagen sounds like something that happens to you.
Well, that's the dude. That's the dude I was mocking earlier.
Got some Stadthagen on my shoe.
He said, I'm looking for what he said, but basically he said we've had assaults in bathrooms, and Representative Coleman said how many of those cases involved a transgender woman, and of course there were none. He couldn't point to any. He had none. We don't in all of these pieces of legislation, many of these districts don't even have a transgender child in question.
Right. They just want to argue about theoretical people.
Yeah, this is all theoretical and all, because they suddenly have an interest in protecting women while they take away their reproductive rights. Yeah. Thank God I don't have to make sense of them because I'm not one of them and they are ridiculous. This is discrimination, pure and simple. It is ridiculous. It has nothing to do with the reality of trans kids or their interactions with cis kids. The kids are far ahead of all of this, and the ones who aren't have parents like that. And all I have to say is, well, welcome aboard, Alabama, I guess. So let's move on and let's talk about movies.
Yay!
Yeah, we love movies.
We do love movies.
We've been trying to kind of catch up with the Oscar ones, but we've seen a few.
Right, the Oscars are about a month away.
Yeah, the 27th. I wonder if I'll be invited to the Oscar party this year. I wonder if we'll have one.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think we will. Although, yeah. So I tend to mention who has had work and
on the red carpet
and the quality of the work that they've had.
Yes.
And for, one of us, not anyone in this room at the moment, I ruin the Oscars every year. I find myself really fair-minded and fun and interested, and the same
because good
person,
work is good work.
The same person who condemns me will email me pictures and say, good work, no work, bad work. Like just to, like, so this happens all year long. It's just apparently I'm a particularly annoying during the Oscars.
Well, because they're all there at the same time for you to go down the list and point.
And I'm just like, what did she do? Yeah, has been, no.
Well, because some of them you don't recognize anymore.
I know. I'm still upset over Jennifer Grey. She was so cute.
I'm still on, what's her name? Pucker Face. Renee Zellweger. That's her. I have no idea who she is anytime I see her now. I used to know what she looked like.
Yeah, I mean, she was another one that was had kind of quirky beauty, and she fixed it in a direction that is more
not her face,
pedestrian beauty. But she's still not Jennifer Grey. Not on the same level.
Well, Jennifer Grey, when she fixed her nose, that didn't need fixing, in my humble opinion. It actually is the thing that made her so striking.
She fixed her nose, and I think she did her eyes. But yeah, she made herself generic.
She looked like
she's pretty.
Random white woman generic. Number 3 on the left. Which
right, and she never was
before.
That. She never was that, and that's a testament to what we do to women in America. Also on to the movies. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, I feel like we've watched more Oscar-nominated films this year than
it just
ever.
Feels that way. We do this every year.
Well, no, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about.
Have we?
Yeah, that's about 3 more than we normally do.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize we had seen that many of the nominees.
Well, we should start with our favorite.
My favorite.
Well, your favorite.
My favorite movie. I have. It has been years since I have seen a movie that I love. Start to finish. It is endearing. I've now seen it 3 times all the way through. I can see it 100 more times. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And it is called
Coda.
Yes. Coda is an amazing film.
Children of Deaf Adults.
Yes, that is the acronym. And it's and it's a story about a girl who is the only hearing member of her family, and she wants to sing.
Yeah,
that right there is plenty.
I mean, it is. Yes, it is. And I've seen this film touch. We have friends who are ASL interpreters. We have friends who are hearing impaired. We have friends who have had deaf parents, and just from that perspective, it's an amazing, amazing film. But there are so many layers for me, so many metaphors, so many. It just tells a universal story beautifully, poignantly, but it's not sappy.
It's not sappy.
It's not stupid. It's not sappy. And I don't feel like it tries too hard. I just think it hits all the right notes.
I didn't ugly cry the first time I saw it, but I came very close and I cried 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time I saw it, I still cried in the exact same spots. And the third time we saw it, I just got a little misty. So I'm thinking maybe if I watch it a 4th time, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I cry every time. Not always at the same parts, because I have picked up on things I've missed. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then it starts all over
But
again.
it's only nominated for what? Best Picture, of course.
Best Picture. Best Supporting Actor,
right.
Troy
Kotsur.
Yeah.
Yeah, who is the father.
The young woman who was the lead should have been nominated and was not.
I agree.
And
Amelia Jones is her name.
And the gentleman who played her teacher also should have been nominated.
Eugenio Derbez, I believe.
What should have been and was not. So
yes.
But I am thrilled it's up for Best Picture. I will be disappointed no matter what wins.
Right, because
I will. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best picture I've seen in 5 years.
I mean, I think it has a shot.
I hope so. Because it is Best Picture.
Well, it is definitely one of the best pictures.
Go ahead.
Because I finally saw Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. And
I saw it too, but I'm going to let you talk.
No, you didn't watch it.
No, I did. I saw enough, and then I did the dishes, and then I saw the end.
And while you were doing the dishes,
I still don't like West Side Story. So
best parts were on the screen.
Please proceed.
Well, see, that's the thing. I was not a huge fan of the original film. I enjoyed the musical numbers. I believe that movie was made for DVD where you could skip to the musical numbers. America, flawless. The mambo in the gym, no notes.
Are we talking about the original?
The original.
Okay.
The cool fugue, fabulous. But a lot of the musical numbers in the original story made no sense. It was like they're just sprinkled in just so that they could be there. And the acting, oh my God, ew. Steven Spielberg let the entire film fucking breathe. Things that needed gravity, like the racism between the two gangs, we got to see it. We got to feel it. So that when we got to the light moments, it was able to be light and airy. And there was a place for it because the whole movie wasn't just light and airy. Like they basically glossed over like the real racism between these two gangs in the original. So it's like everything was kind of on the same note, you know, and everything just was able to breathe. And all the songs that I hated in the original, Tonight, I Feel Pretty,
and I love those songs.
Maria,
I love those songs.
One Hand, One Heart, Officer Krumke. I hated that shit.
See, I have always loved the music of West Side Story, but I can't bear the movie West Side Story.
I don't really hate the songs, but in the context of the movie, oh my God, I hated it. Because like the cool fugue, for instance, stops the movie dead for no reason. One Hand, One Heart stops the movie dead for no reason. We're just sitting there watching this happen. In the Steven Spielberg movie, there's context for everything. There's a reason for it to be where it belongs. Some of the songs were the order.
They were reordered.
And they make sense in the story. I actually didn't dislike any of the songs in this go through because it made sense.
You felt like he did better storytelling. With the same material.
Well, that's why Steven Spielberg is one of my favorite directors. He is a master storyteller. He gives the story the breadth and scope that it needs, visually, tonally. I love it. I have no notes. The dancing was amazing. The acting was amazing. I'm not saying it should win over Coda for Best Picture, but if it did, I wouldn't be upset.
Okay. I mean, I was definitely in the minority in the room. There were 4 of us, in my opinion. And again, it was fine. It was lovely. I loved the part Rita Moreno was given in the new
I cried.
version.
They gave her a song that she didn't have in the original, and it was a song that I didn't like in the original.
Oh, now see, and that's my favorite song from West Side Story.
I know it is.
That is my favorite. Should we include one spoiler here?
I mean, it's not
This is a spoiler. Turn off your
spoiler.
It's not a real spoiler, but she sings somewhere, and it is poignant and lovely. That is my favorite song from West Side Story.
I hear you.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
But giving that song to her character and her singing it when she sings it, oh, it's beautiful. And that's when I cry.
Yeah, she does. They don't try to tape her up and make her Anita again.
No.
Has a. Now, was her character in the original?
Yes, the store owner, which was an old white guy in the original.
An old white guy who's now.
I believe
Rita
her
Moreno.
part,
Yeah.
her part in that role is bigger in this version too.
It may be, but that was beautiful. There were beautiful moments. I was like, all right.
I thought it was masterfully done.
I'm broken when it comes to certain,
you don't even
certain
like
bits of
Princess
media.
Bride, so
I hate Princess Bride. I mean, hate, but I never want to see it again. I never want to see it again. The cult following totally goes over my head.
Well, I can't guarantee you'll never see it again because I haven't seen it in a minute. I'm due
Well,
for
you
another
can watch.
watching.
I do things. You can watch it while I'm doing things. But yeah. So West Side Story. I have an opinion that no remake should get Best Picture.
But
that's just me.
But
like
it's such a well done film.
You know, But to me,
I'm not
it's
saying I
just
disagree
like,
with you.
You started on third base, and we're supposed to think you hit a triple. The work was already done. It was already laid out. The songs were already there. He was masterful at reordering them, and that's adorable. And I'm glad he got nominated, but he doesn't deserve to win for that.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying, if it did win, I wouldn't be upset. Is Tick Tick Boom nominated for Best Picture?
I don't know, but it shouldn't be. There's a reason that was never made.
You are a hating ass
There's
hater.
a reason it wasn't his best work. It's fine.
Andrew Garfield is amazing.
He was amazing. Yes, but
And Robin DeJesus.
I mean, she was great.
He.
Yes. I know who you mean. No, they were terrific. They did a terrific job. There's a reason, that was not the musical he is known for.
Well, yeah, okay. So, Tick Tick Boom is the story of Jonathan Larson struggling to get his new musical put on stage. And, I enjoy the story as an artist. I can relate to a lot of it. But the show itself that he is struggling to get seen is not good.
Well, it's not. It's not. Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not great.
Like watching him make it is compelling, and watching everyone deal with him as he's going through it. It's a great story, but the actual product that is being put out, I'm not a fan.
So,
but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, there are movies I just stand up and say, that's 2 hours I'll never get back. So I guess that's my version of 1 star.
I did enjoy Lin-Manuel Miranda was the director, and we got to see so many Broadway folks in the film.
Yes, I'm not sorry I watched
chunk of Hamilton cast.
Yeah, I'm not sorry I watched it. But again, it's a movie about kind of shit content, so how good can it be? I guess that's my review.
I understand. I
but they shined that shit as well as anyone could have.
Well, it's Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield's performance is
beautifully done.
Very good reason.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun.
Being as good as it is.
I'm not sorry I watched it.
Yeah. What else did we see? Oh,
Flea. Are we going to Flea?
Yeah.
We did see Flea.
The movie that's not going to win for Best Animated Feature.
I think it should. I still think it should.
It should. It ain't gonna. It's not gonna beat Encanto.
I want it to beat Encanto.
No, nothing's going to beat Encanto.
I want it to, though.
I know.
And I'm a madrigal, but I still want it to beat Encanto.
Nothing's going to beat Encanto. Well, see, here's my thing with Flea.
One of us is right.
We're going
or neither. Out. Well, one of us is right, though it may not be Flea, but I think it should be. So tell the folks why.
If Flea
let's talk about the actual anime. Flea is groundbreaking.
I would not
in many ways.
Flea is it's a true story. It's a quasi documentary that is told through archival footage and animation about a young gay man from Afghanistan, and he is going to be with his husband, his American husband, and he has to keep going back and forth to Afghanistan because his story has taken him around the world in academia and
going back metaphorically, not physically.
Right. And it's a great story. He talks about growing up a queer man in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is not the greatest place to be on the daily. And
we had a lot to do with that.
Right, exactly. He went through a lot to be himself, and it's a great story. My only thing is that style of animation doesn't hold up for a feature length. If that film was 30 minutes long, I would have liked it better. However, I can't see there being a way to tell his story in 30 minutes. So I understand.
There isn't, it was an interesting choice that it be animated. I wasn't a fan of the idea, but I did sit all the way through it, and I thought it was compelling.
Definitely.
I certainly don't think it lost anything by being animated, and maybe in some ways it gained something, because we use more of our imagination viewing animation. So maybe, I don't know.
As a story,
I love that the story's been told.
right. As a story, it's amazing. As a film,
Yeah, it's probably not going to beat
That's the
Encanto,
thing.
but I want it to.
I know. It would
I
be great.
I want really good queer storytelling to just be at the front as often as it possibly can. I love that it's even nominated.
Right.
And I'm not a huge Encanto fan. That's the other problem.
It's a juggernaut. We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, it's cute.
And that's not even my favorite song.
No, but it's cute. I don't have a favorite song.
The Pressure Like a Drip Drip song. That's the song I like. I know it's not called that, but that's what I was called.
Well, whatever. It doesn't
Pressure
matter.
Like a Drip Drip.
I mean, I want to like Encanto more than I do. I just don't.
Because your
right.
heart is a cold stove.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. It's cute.
It's not my
guess.
favorite Disney movie, but it's good. And the fact
Now
that
there are moments and characters I'm deeply in favor of.
yes, the fact that it exists is fabulous.
The fact that it is not some, romance.
It's not. There's no
A man does not save the day.
yeah. There's no prince. There's no villain. Unless you
Nah,
count.
well,
unless
I
you
count
count
Abuela. I do count Abuela, and I'm glad she was the villain because I was not happy with her. Like she was on my nerves, so I was glad she was actually. But no, there isn't a villain. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to like it.
Yeah,
I don't know what's wrong with me that I don't like it more, but I don't.
Heart, cold, stone. We talked.
Fine,
We had
fine.
this conversation
Fine.
when it comes to
Yeah.
movies, anyway.
Maybe, and yet Coda. Oh my God! But
I agree.
There's something about Encanto that but I love the sister, the big broad lesbian sister, Luisa, fabulous.
She is like the beacon now. Oh
I
my
love
God.
that. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, you're not supposed to use that word anymore, but yes, she is.
She is the women who love women beacon. Like they're just not a
But
dry,
in a very masculine way.
not a dry seat in the house when Luis is on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. and I love that character exists and is there and is central to the plot. I do. I should like it more than I do.
But you don't, and that's okay.
I mean, it's fine. I didn't not enjoy it.
Anyway, a movie we both enjoyed that I really, 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 really hope gets Best Documentary.
Is it up?
Summer of Soul.
Yes. Is it up? I hope it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. Yes, it should.
And I believe it is. But Questlove is the director, and I felt everything. Oh, I'm sorry. Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel things every single time. It's a documentary about the 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival, which went on for about 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
A series of concerts in the middle of Harlem.
Yep.
I believe it was free to the public.
Yep.
And the talent was epic. We're talking Stevie Wonder. We're talking Hugh Masekela. We're talking Sly and the Family Stone.
Nina
Simone. Fucking, I believe were the Temptations there?
I don't remember them.
It was they could have been. Gladys Knight and the Pips were there.
Yeah, a lot of amazing black.
You think of
artists
amazing
the
black
day.
artists,
and
they were probably there.
The news that probably overshadowed
Woodstock
was Woodstock. Yeah.
Right. And they called the cultural festival the Black Woodstock.
Right.
Basically it was, except there was no mud and
True. Folks could actually go home to their own bed at night.
Exactly.
But it's interesting.
It got none of the press. It basically got no press because of Woodstock.
Right.
And
right.
so in addition to the actual footage of the festival, Questlove shows us individuals that were there that are seeing the footage for the first time, and they are just happy to, like, one dude is just happy to know he's not crazy and he didn't imagine it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I know I'm not crazy, but I know I'm not crazy.
I did this. I went to this, and nobody's talking about it. Right. It's not known. It's not a big part of history. And that is what is truly amazing, because some of it was just, I mean, it was just incredible that this happened. It was incredible that it spanned a summer. There were so many amazing artists, so many concert goers who were transformed by the experience. And yet we didn't know shit about this until we saw this documentary. So, wow.
I mean,
and people who were alive and in New York at the time and old enough to be aware didn't know either.
I feel like that summer had to have a big influence on the Black is Beautiful movement of the 70s, because that was gorgeous. We both cried repeatedly.
Yeah.
Maya Angelou was there. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Just I keep thinking of names.
When I picture God, I say this as often as anyone will listen. When I picture God and how God should be portrayed, it is not Morgan Freeman. It's Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
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 That is how I picture God. And the voice of God is that woman.
I just hear her going,
I
good
love
morning.
her. Oh my God. Good morning. Yes. Yes.
But they broadcast Summer of Soul this past weekend on ABC, and so many people
made
got
it to the
see
mainstream. Free mainstream. Yes. Yes.
Campaign.
Was it Hulu?
Yes, we saw it
Okay.
on,
All right.
I believe it was Hulu. One of them streaming.
It was on something we pay for.
Right.
But it was recently on broadcast television.
Yes, which is amazing, and so many people got to see it for the first time. I learned that Max Roach, jazz drummer Max Roach, was Black watching this movie. I never knew.
Right.
Look at me learning things.
Right.
I always knew who Max Roach was. I could recognize his sound. Never saw him before. And I was like, oh shit. It was an amazing movie. I really want Questlove to get something because it's so deserving.
Can I say that no matter what some of these backwater rednecks or whatever I call them, no matter what they do, no matter what they try to legislate, as Black people thankfully have wealth, we are learning and seeing the stories that were kept from us.
Yep.
Like Tulsa.
Yep. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for Watchmen, a whole bunch of people wouldn't have never learned about the Black Wall Street Tulsa massacre.
Right.
Well, Watchmen and then Lovecraft Country.
Oof. How can and I just how can we not want to know these stories, these true stories? How can we not want to know them?
Well,
but our history has to inform our present and our future.
I agree.
And if we don't, if information is kept from us, and I am paperwhite, but if it's kept from us, how do we know?
Right, exactly. But
we got to know where we've been.
I agree.
To know where we're going.
Well, see, that's the thing. And there's a lot of white people who are holding fast to the idea that in the future, somehow we're going to get rid of the Black people. So there's no point in teaching the history. No, we're here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. And we're going to be hiring y'all soon. So, or not, if you don't shut up.
This is a product, of finally some Black wealth and some really smart people saying there are stories that need to be told, and they're telling them.
Right.
And that is what Summer of Soul is.
It's
and
fabulous.
It was incredibly well done. And it's a story everyone should be aware of.
I agree.
And in part, it was a response to the riots. It was a response to Dr. King's murder. It was a response to the unrest.
Tensions were high in the city, and this was a way to bring people together in a peaceful way.
And it did.
It did.
It did. It was
beautiful.
Successful, in its goals. And we're just now learning about it. All 50 years later. That's unacceptable.
And apparently our dog Ailey is letting us know that it's time for a break.
Yes, it is. It's time for a break. The thing about recording in your dining room is sometimes the dog has to pee. We'll be back.
Be right back.
And we're back.
We're back.
We emptied the Pomeranian.
Yes.
He has had one of his homemade vegan dog treats.
Because we are two crunchy bitches who make our own dog treats.
I never set out to be that, but the Pomeranian has no teeth, and so I do bake chewy homemade treats for him because he gets a treat every time he comes in the house, and he is a fully house trained 4-pound Pomeranian. So you know what? Fuck y'all with your pee pads. I got my dog.
And I know you said you don't put crack in the treats, but I swear
he
since
acts
you started,
like I do, yeah.
When you started making these treats for him, he comes up with reasons to go out so he can come in and have a treat. It's kind of ridiculous.
After we spent $8 a bag for a tiny bag of treats, looking for something that he would accept once he didn't have teeth, I was like, yeah, this is stupid.
I understand. No, that was a smart move. And he agrees.
Yeah, so I bake them by the large Ziploc bag full, and we just take out a few at a time and thaw them out, and he loves them. So,
yay!
That's happened. So, as I mentioned, this is our 5th recording, but it's probably the first one any of you will ever hear.
Hi.
Hi, right. So I wanted to take a minute to introduce you to us and tell you why we're doing what we're doing as we invite you to join us each week for our podcast.
So as we've already said, my name is Charles Tyson Jr. and I am a biracial, pansexual. I'm me. I'm an artist. I'm a performer. I'm a choreographer. I'm a filmmaker and a writer, and that's who I am. That's why I'm crazy. And who are you?
I am Martha Madrigal. A little bit older than you, but a little bit wiser too. I was married twice. We've known each other for 20 years.
Oh my God.
But the first 10 of that I was married. We met at a favorite local bar in West Philadelphia and carried on a 10-year conversation. And after the first marriage crashed and burned, we were sitting at the bar and chatting. And I was lamenting trying to date anyone at that point, and you said, "Are you ever going to ask me out?"
Because I'm awesome.
And I did.
And we're still together.
And we are still together, and we are engaged, and we're going on 10 years this summer.
I liked it, so I put a ring on it.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, I like that. So one of our friends commented that we were both so fully queer, we came full circle and are now a heterosexual relationship. That is one of the
technical way.
In the most, yeah. And that is part of where full circle came from. We also moved back into the house where I grew up, which I will often refer to as the scene of the crime. After I lived for more than 30 years in Philadelphia and Charles grew up there, we moved back to a tiny little hamlet in South Jersey. And for me, it is very much coming full circle. And in my writing and in the work that I try to do, I like to come full circle. I like to bring us back to a place where it all makes sense, or a place where we're thinking harder, we're thinking better, and maybe we're doing more on behalf of all of us. So, Full Circle is the title of this podcast, and that is what stuck. I am
There's
Martha
a method to our madness.
Well, there's a loose method to our madness. I am Martha Madrigal.
And I am Charles Tyson Jr.
And from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for joining us, and we invite you to join us each week as we bring you Full Circle.
Thanks, God. Thanks, everyone. And hopefully
Don't call them all guys.
I caught myself. And we hope to see you and hear you again soon. Full Circle is a Never Scared Productions podcast, hosted by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal, produced and edited by Never Scared, executive produced by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal. Our theme and music is by the Jingle Berries.